Hello everyone, welcome to Pro Tour Philadelphia. We are live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the United States of America. Rich Hagon and the Pro Tour historian Brian David Marshall. BDM, Modern, the first ever Modern PT. It's been a great weekend so far. What are you expecting out of the last day?
Well, we're expecting to see whether or not Combo is going to rule the day or whether little green creatures are going to be able to take on all comers.
I guess the field is heavily stacked in terms of combo, but it only needs one to slice its way through the field, and you have a worthy champion. Those of you who like to attack for two, in the form of Josh Adelaide.
Right, and he's playing a deck that's well positioned in a field full of red and green spells that he might want to counter.
Okay, so we have a top 8. We're going to introduce them to you. We're going to show you how they got here, how they spent their first 2 days. So let's see if we can get that up on screen for you. We're going to sort of start off. We've got Max Scherblum of Finland. He's going to be your number 1 seed. Then you've got Jesse Hampton of the United States. Your 3rd seed then, as we head down the standings, is Josh Utter-Leighton. 4th, Andre Prost. 5th, Samuele Estrati of Italy. Another Italian, Alessandro Portaro, is your 6th seed. Sam Black at number 7. And then Chikara Nakajima is 8. So, how they got there, let's see what happened in round 1. 2 losses there. You have it, Andre Prost and Portaro. Let's take you 2 rounds further on. We're now well into Modern, and you can see that Portaro and Prost, very poor starts, 1 and 2, but believe me, Andre Prost is about to go on an incredible tear. Let's go 2 rounds further on to the end of Modern, and you see that we've got perfect records for Scherblum and Josh Utter-Leighton. Right down the back, Sam Black had a bit of a meltdown. He had couple of wins, then a draw, and then 2 losses to leave him right at the back and playing catch-up through the rest of the tournament. Then we switched formats. We went to M12, 6, 7, and 8, and at the end of day 1, Scherblum of Finland right the way at the top, full marks, 8 out of 8. The player missing from that list, Sebastian Thaler, BDM, who was 8-0 overnight, but really struggled day 2.
He had a not very successful draft on day 2. He ended up going 0-3 in that draft. He could have won his last round to get in, but we saw Jeremy Neiman, who's been, a rising force on the Pro Tour, make a lot of goblins, make them all hasty, kill him very early in the final game of that match.
The Bushwhacker did the business. So let's take you to day 2, rounds 9, 10, and 11. And now we're at the end of M12. Max Scherblum, trying to do his Louis Scott Vargas impression, 11 and 0. And you can see, if you look at Sam Black on 22 points, he's the best part of 4 rounds adrift, if you will, of Max Scherblum. It just shows that, it's never over till it's over. Let's take you back to Modern. We go to round 12. Scherblum is still undefeated. But this is where you realize what an immense task LSV did last year in San Diego.
Oh, absolutely.
Because round 12 wins in a row. Most people never do 12 wins in a row. And Scherblum still has 4 to go if he wants to emulate, and then 5 if you include the top 8. So on we go. Let's take you a couple rounds further on. And now the field's starting to tighten up. And you can see that for Scherblum, Hampton, Utter-Leighton, they feel that they're going to be close to being able to ID in. Then you've got your 33s going, if I win, then I can ID. Sam Black, they're currently in the 7th slot, and he's going to have to go win-win. Let's go 1 round further on, round 15, the penultimate round, and we're all in great shape except Black and Nakajima. Those 2 have to win, and for Nakajima, there were so many players, BDM, who could have got in on 36. Right. You've talked about Neiman, you've talked about Thaler, and one of the big stories this weekend, Vincent Lemois, surely the most improved player on the pro circuit this year.
Vincent Lemois gets to that final round, he sits down, he looks at his pairing, and he just says, no, I'm supposed to be able to draw this round. He was paired against Sam Black. Sam, obviously, you can see there, in no position to draw, has to fight for his life. Vincent Lemois still had a shot. A 136-point player was going to get in. It was clear at that moment, but It was not going to be Vincent Lemois.
Let's go to round 16, and there you see the 136-pointer making it in, Chikara Nakajima. So that is the top 8. That's who we're going to play with over the next few hours. So, BDM, let's start looking at the matchups and see what we've got. So, on table 1, if you will, we've got this Max Scherblum of Finland, our number 1 seed, Magic Online Pro Tour qualifier, and he's up against the very experienced Chikara Nakajima of Japan. So, Midian, what's the matchup in this one?
Well, Sjoblom's playing Pyromancer Ascension. He's got, your a lot of cards to sift through his deck. A lot
the
of cards.
three Ps, the Ponder, the Preordained, the Peer Through Depths.
He also has the Pyromancer Ascension.
Okay, yep.
He's looking to, just get this critical mass of spells and, just fire off some bolts. But what he also is going to try to do is set up a loop of Metamorphose and... the new card.
with your Pyromancer's Ascension and Noxious Revival.
Noxious Revival,
Yeah,
thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm thinking Reclaim.
Yeah.
He sets up a loop with those two cards, nets extra mana each time, and then can Banefire his opponent out or do any number of things.
And of course, Banefire, once it gets to 5, it's uncounterable, so it doesn't matter what flash freezes you've got stuck in your hand.
Certainly.
Not happening. On the other side, Nakajima, really old school. This is a straightforward affinity red. We're possibly going to see a Tog getting very large and then flinging it at his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this deck actually 4-0 the very, very first Magic Online daily event that was held in the modern format. This looks, very similar to that list, right? Like a lot of really inexpensive creatures come out of the gate super fast. The ability to Blood Moon anybody who's playing with a fancy mana base.
Yep, they're all mountains.
And you have Galvanic Blast, you have Fling, you have Shrapnel Blast. Cranial Plating to just get in for
Plus lots.
the brown howl from beyond.
Yep, indeed. So that is quarterfinal 1. Now, quarterfinal 2 sees a young man from Anchorage, Alaska, Andre Prost of the United States. He's only 19, been playing since 2005, 9th place at Grand Prix Rotterdam a couple of years ago. He's the second Pyromancer Ascension player in the top 8. Very similar gist to Sjoblom.
Yeah, also playing with a lot of the Ps. He's also got Serum Visions in his deck. Kind of the same thing.
Okay, new deck to tell you about. Samuele Estrati from Italy, level 4 pro. He's 25, bunch of pro points. Pretty experienced, 55 lifetime pro points because he's a regular on the Grand Prix circuit. Played at the Team World Championship in Rome a couple of years back. He's playing Splinter Twin. Now, you may not actually see him win at any point today, but he's going to win games, and the way he's going to do that is by casting Deceiver Exarch and then casting Splinter Twin, at which point their opponent's going to shuffle up. So you're not going to actually see all these copies that are going to happen and have haste and finally kill them, but he's just going to go, there we go, how's that? Right. And then they're going to shuffle up.
But before everyone got into the top 8 area, the judges were going around each player looking at their deck list, making sure they had the appropriate tokens for their decks, right? Here's some soldier tokens for you, here's some this kind of tokens for you, and nobody offered any kind of Deceiver Exarch or
no
Pestomite
million
tokens.
copies or anything.
No. Here's an infinite stack of
Pestimites. We'll just imagine those. So that's Prost against Estrati. Now, quarterfinal 3 is a guy who, in terms of, in some ways, experience, but also pedigree, when you think that this is the man from the Team Channel Fireball, Josh Utterlayton, San Jose, California, and he's got a deck that is, well, it's so ordinary, it's absurd, and I mean that in the nicest way, because you want innovation and excitement, and, like, Zoo's the deck that you play when you can't think of anything else to play.
Except that in this case, this is a Zoo deck that is really tailored to the format, right?
Yeah.
We made that joke about the TV antenna and at the end of the day one wrap and how you're trying to get the picture in.
Sure.
And the way this deck worked is, everyone was sort of ensconced in that ski lodge and they were playing all these kind of fancy decks. And Brian Kibler sat there and he just kept attacking with his Wild Nacatl. He kept sideboarding in his cards. Bant Charm led to Flash Freeze.
And there's Unified Will in the sideboard as well. And Rule of Law, which is such a beating. Yeah.
And you're able to set the deck up in such a way that it has answers to the things you need it to have answers to. And talked to a lot of people this morning who feel Josh is in a great position to add to his resume. He's already a U.S. national champion. Possibly if things go the way certainly Matt Nass felt,
yep,
we could be seeing a Pro Tour champion this weekend.
That is certainly true. In the way, the second Italian in the top 8. This is Alessandro Portaro from Rome. He's 21. Been playing for 7 years, 5-1 draft, 7-2-1 with Modern. This is Splinter Twin. Now, although both Italians are playing Splinter Twin, they've got some differences in the deck. They're not test buddies, and
Sure.
so they've ended up with different decks. But nonetheless, Splinter Twin against Zoo, and I guess you heavily favour Zoo in that one.
Well, interestingly, talking to players before this match, Josh really thinks he's a heavy favorite in this matchup, and apparently talking to Alessandro, he also thinks Josh is a heavy favorite in this matchup.
Yeah. Okay, so that leaves a fourth quarterfinal, unsurprisingly, and this is the All-American Clash. Now we have Jesse Hampton. Now, we'd like to do our homework, and it turned out that when Jesse got into the top 8, we were like, I don't know much about him. We know a little bit more now. From Washington, as in the Seattle area of the United States, he's 22, got here on his total rating, and also from top 16 at Dallas. He was 9th this year at Grand Prix Dallas. Also, a result that doesn't sound very flashy, but I'm quite impressed with, is 35th, you see already it doesn't sound impressive, at Grand Prix Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, of course, is just 1 week ago, and it's the event where all the pros come out to play.
Certainly.
It was a 1,500 player field, but it was stacked with it's Pro Tour light virtually. It's like the few people who couldn't get the extra time off work, they were the only people missing from GP Pittsburgh. So to be in that kind of range was an indicator that this was a guy who was serious. He's not here by chance. Playing a deck, I know he got from, is it Travis Wu?
Yep, Travis Wu playing the Breach Post deck. We did a deck tech with him.
Yeah.
We saw a very similar matchup for Sam Black at the end of the Swiss rounds. Sam's playing obviously the very exciting Blazing Shoal Infect deck. His version is mono blue. It has an incredible package of cards to sort through his deck.
Yeah.
He, in the deck tech you did with him about his deck, he said, there's basically 5 cards in my deck.
Yep.
And he has, and they all find the key cards in his deck.
Absolutely.
So he, and we saw, Vincent Lemois play, oh, look, I'm going to play a Signet. And Sam Black's like, well, I'm going to kill you.
Yes. That's a case of fair magic against unfair magic.
Right.
So Sam Black is Jesse Hampton's opponent, the Madison, Wisconsin native pro club at level 6. He's 29 now. Sam been playing games forever. A true gamer right across the board. Won a car at Worlds in 2007. He used to go around Pro Tours basically just winning all the main side events, the public events. Right. But that's certainly not true anymore. He's well deserving of his first Pro Tour top 8.
World Team Champion.
2008 with Michael Jacob and Paul Chion. And so this mono blue poison deck, I mean, I've got to be honest, to me it's the most fun deck in the top 8. I'm not sure it's going to win necessarily because if we've done our little sort of calculations, then maybe he's going to run into a Wildner Cattle or two.
2 weeks ago when you were at home sorting through your collection going, standard, modern, commander, and you're sorting your cards, Reaper King, is that something that you had in your modern pile?
No. No, I think it was propping up a table, actually, if memory serves. So, okay, the stage is set, and the players are ready to go. We have Sherblum against Nakajima. We have Prost against Istrati. We have Hampton against Black. And we have Utter Leighton against Portaro. Let's take you to the quarterfinals.